What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the PHDJ podcast, another episode with your hosts. It's me, Joe Bunn, and my friend Mike Walter.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
Good, brother. So we're pre-recording this.
Yep.
Let's see. Today is the 5th, and this will come out when we're in Mobile Beat?
2 weeks from today, so it'll come out on the 19th.
Perfect. So
yeah. So I know you have a topic that I think will still be topical. Hopefully, it's not.
I hope
too topical.
I hope it's not. So we want to just go ahead and get into it. Serious topic. We're kind of making light of it, but it's scary. We're talking today about event cancellation and really basing it around this whole coronavirus thing. I think that Mike and I both, living on the East Coast, have dealt with our share of cancellations over the last 20, 30 years. He and I have been doing this, and it's mainly been, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, for us, hurricanes. For you guys, I know y'all have had your share of close calls with hurricanes, especially the coastal people in that Jersey area. I can't remember which one that was so devastating.
Yeah, to me, the worst experience we had was Hurricane Sandy up here, which really hit us super hard.
Yeah.
I still have my notes from that following weekend where almost every event moved. A few of them went on, but almost every event moved. And, to me, that's the biggest thing as far as a DJ company goes.
Correct.
If there's a postponement, it's one thing. We will do everything we can. We will honor that agreement. We will try to get you your original DJ. If not, we'll give you a selection of who you get. But if we start having to get into mass cancellations with returning deposits, that gets a little scary.
So that's what we really want to talk about today, Mike, because this came up yesterday at, I was inside the members only vault group on Facebook, and I said, ask me anything. And inevitably people started asking about this coronavirus, and multiple people from Texas to Timbuktu were saying it's already happening. Like, we are seeing cancellations in our area.
Yeah, I mean, today, again, this is March 5th. So when you listen to this, it's 2 weeks old. But Jamie Bodie, and I know you know Jamie.
Yeah, I know.
He put up this morning, we have lost our first event due to coronavirus. And I asked him for details because my first thought was a wedding, and he said it was a conference that they just decided not to host. Now, I haven't had a chance to ask him, but so if it's a cancellation like that, then does he return the deposit? I don't know. Again, I'm usually pretty generous when it comes to returning deposits for tragedies.
Right.
Death in the family, the groom just found out he has cancer, and we're canceling the wedding. Man, one-off situations like that are tragic, I will return the deposit. I'm a softie that way. I know some people are like, you shouldn't ever, blah, 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 but I will. I have a heart. But I couldn't literally afford to return every deposit right now that we have in the books. It would bankrupt Elite Entertainment. So I don't know what we're going to be expected to do,
That's the issue for me, Mike. So it's really one of those kind of those scary things, and I think that's what people were asking. Okay, so I'll say this: we have not lost an event yet, knock on wood, but we did have somebody, and I was trying to find the email. I wanted to see exactly how she worded it. It was a conference or a corporate event. And she emailed back and said, hey, Bunn DJ Company, can you guys basically hold this date? We are still, having internal meetings about, I forget what the formal name is, COVID-18 or whatever the coronavirus is called. And can you please continue to hold the date? And it was a weekday. It was not, prime time wedding season date until we figure this out internally. So, is there a potential that we're going to lose, really good weekday money gig? Yeah. And I think, it could go up from there. I'm hoping that when this drops, something better has happened and we don't have to worry so much about it. You know what I mean? But the question is, and they kept coming up, was, if somebody called today, right, Mike? And I guess I'm going to ask you first because I always value, your opinion, and sometimes I'm a follow the leader kind of guy, and you're the leader. Somebody calls you today and says, all right, my wedding is May 1st, or let's just say it's April 1st or April 2nd, and we're going to cancel. We need our deposit back. what is Mike Walter, the owner of Elite Entertainment, saying to this
so
because
she's
of
saying
the coronavirus?
Cancel because of the coronavirus.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I would have to invoke now. If it's that soon, we really have the right to the balance due if you cancel within.
Yeah, so we need to.
Let's
look at it two ways then. Okay, so let's look at it two ways. Let's say it's soon.
Okay. So I think my compromise to her would be that your deposit's non-refundable, but I will not ask you as I could under the terms of the contract, I will not ask you for the balance due.
Okay.
And so hopefully, but I would also encourage her, don't you just want to postpone this event? I mean, you're still going to get married, so unless you're planning on getting married exactly, like just going to the town hall and then doing whatever and then never having a wedding reception, I would encourage somebody like that to just postpone. I will honor your deposit somewhere down the road. But if I start getting into cutting checks for every single cancellation, like I said, it's a death. Though. I just can't.
Well, that they were saying, do you think it'll affect the DJ industry? I was like, man, it's going to affect every industry, every coffee shop, every mall.
Yeah, man. I don't say that as if I'm the only one in that position. I don't know a lot of banquet halls that are that deep that could just cut a deposit back to every single upcoming wedding.
So, and again, we all have different contracts, but I brought this up to my attorney and got in English what the answer is for my particular contract. Again, I'm going to say this one time only. I'm not a lawyer. Even the contract I shared on the vault, like that was done by a lawyer, but you'll clearly see at the top, like this is not legal advice. Always consult a lawyer. Here is the response. It says, if you're talking about the Bunn DJ contract that we wrote, the force majeure provision is, and this is in bold, one-sided only. So in sum, the only person that can trigger that clause is the DJ. As such, if a bride and groom try and cancel because no one wants to travel, they do not have a way out of the contract. However, if the DJ doesn't want to travel or is otherwise sick, there's an argument that the DJ can get out of the contract without penalty by triggering the force majeure. I think I'm saying that right. This will, of course, vary for other DJs based on what force majeure language they have in his or her contract. Coronavirus is causing many to try and get out of contracts using force majeure. However, in this context, the bride and groom simply don't have force majeure rights in the contract at all, so there's no argument for them to cancel based on coronavirus. Your response to clients will be the same as what you say in times of weather-related cancellations. Any cancellation is subject to termination fees and or payment of fees as set forth in the contract. They may have event cancellation insurance that might apply if they choose to insure their wedding. In addition, DJs may want to consider offering to rebook, like Mike said, events if schedules allow, but the contract mine does not require this. Hope this helps.
So this is going to be one of those situations where you can contractually do something, but will it kill your reputation? Will it kill? Is it anti-PR? If the tendency, if society is blowing this out of proportion or in proportion, I don't want to go there, but if the trend is the news starts covering people like us and saying, look at how horrible they are not returning deposits, then, I mean, sometimes we have to give it. I mean, I know a DJ who put up a fight about returning a deposit and the groom was killed, but the groom-to-be had died like a month before the wedding. Right. And he was trying to fight returning the deposit, and then all of a sudden, the news agencies showed up at his office.
Oh, good Lord.
So you can say, look, I've got a contract and everything else, but when Channel 5 on your side shows up in my office, all of a sudden rules go out of the window. I want PR to me is more important than anything. So maybe not anything.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. I mean, and again, we deal with it, Mike, I'll be honest, every other year down here with hurricanes. The hurricanes always seem to come on the weekends, and it blows my mind. I'm like, why couldn't the hurricane have been Monday, or Tuesday? Like, this is insanity. We've dealt with it. We have people have gone on with it. I've definitely played during hurricanes. Literally can, hear the shutters on these buildings going whap, 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 whap. Like I'm in there trying to play louder than the wind is blowing. We've had people move dates. We've had people change venues from outdoor to indoor. Things happen.
But keep in mind here, Joe, we're talking about one weekend of disrupted events.
Correct.
Similar to Sandy. I mean, by 2 weeks after Sandy, things had returned mostly to normal. I think we had a few postponements in that second week, but everything was that one weekend.
Yeah, that's good.
We could be talking about months. We could be. And again, I don't want to sound alarmist or anything else.
Well, okay.
And again, and we're recording this and it's going to drop in 2 weeks. We don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. So we might sound incredibly outdated either way. But yeah, I mean, we could be talking about months and months. I mean, somebody just shared a post that some winter festival, Ultra Miami, canceled.
I saw that.
Now, again, that's a big difference. That's a huge festival.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a huge festival and a wedding for 200, 150, 200 people. I think they could get to the point where the government makes it mandatory. I mean, in Italy, they're playing soccer games to empty stadiums already. I don't know if you've seen that, but I mean,
they're empty stadium playing. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might get to that with concerts being canceled and sporting events, not allowing audiences, things like that. We may get to that point, but I don't know if the government's ever going to step in and say gatherings of 200 people are illegal or need to be postponed. I don't know.
Mike, as somebody that is a self-professed avid watcher of not just politics, but news in general, talking to somebody that doesn't really ever turn it on or open a newspaper, Joe Bunn, ignorant self. I mean, what is your 2 cents on this thing? Is it hyped by the media? Is it really
it's certainly hyped by the media?
Okay.
Yes, I definitely think it's hyped by the media, but I also think this feels different than any other previous bird flu, H1, whatever. There's been other things like this that were all going to kill us. But I don't know. There's something about this that just feels different. So I'm not an alarmist. And like I said, I flew to St. Louis earlier in the week. I'm going to Vegas in 2 weeks, or I'll be there when this drops. So I haven't changed my life much. So as much as I'm paying attention to the news, it hasn't affected me that much. But yeah, there's something about this one that does feel a little different than previous ones.
Oh, I don't know, man. I just look. My advice to you guys is look over your contracts, speak to an attorney that you trust. I guess at the end of the day, be prepared for what you are going to say when that phone call comes about getting their money back. But I think if you're like Mike and like what my attorney said, that the smart move is, hey, listen, this thing's going to pass. You're still going to get married. Let us, we still want to DJ your wedding. We're still going to try and get Dominic or Randy to DJ your wedding. If we can't, I promise you, every DJ we have on staff is amazing. You're still going to have a great party. Let's just let this thing pass and let the vaccine or whatever needs to happen and circle back, as soon as this calms down and you're still going to get married and we're still going to have an awesome party. It's
funny as you're saying that I'm kind of reminding myself all last year, we talked about how 2020 was going to be the biggest year for weddings because everybody loved that number and everything else. Did. And I certainly don't think this is going to wipe the slate of all weddings, but it might put a pinch in the wedding industry to the point where it turns out that 2020 isn't the greatest year for weddings. So who knows? You never know.
It's just
we should also spend a few minutes because we're talking strictly about business here. We should spend a few minutes on personal. I do think the advice that is being put out by the medical community is smart. Wash your hands on a regular basis. Avoid people who are clearly looking ill, and if they weren't decent enough to stay home and self-quarantine themselves, just use common sense. And one of the big things that I've heard from every medical person who's weighed in on this is the healthier you are, the more of a chance you have of this not being a big issue. That's why the elderly and the young are more at risk than, a middle-aged person who's in good shape. So as with anything, I mean, it's always the best route is to keep yourself as healthy as possible. Get good night's sleep, and I think just taking those precautions of wash your hands a little bit more and avoid, risky situations is probably for the best.
Have you felt in the last week, 10 days since this kind of blew up, like that scratchy throat when you wake up, or like a little runny nose when you're at the gym or running, and
then you're like, what is that?
I've got coronavirus, right? Have you felt that? Because I'm
not that paranoid. I listen to Howard Stern all the time, and he's already on that kick. Like, I've got it.
Right.
But I'm not that paranoid. Matter of fact, I think I've taken the opposite of. I know this sounds cocky, but I don't think I'm going to get it. And I think if I do, my overall health is going to help me. This is just going to be a cold if I get it. I don't think it's going to kill me.
I'm kind of with you on that health level in terms of, I don't, knock on wood, think it would kill me. But like my sister was saying this morning, she was like, but aren't you going to have to be like quarantined? Like, aren't you stuck in your house for like a month or whatever until they figure it out? That's like my worst nightmare. You and I are like tornadoes. Like I'm going to go running, and then I'm going to go to the office, and I'm going to go here and take Kelly out, and then I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to go to this show, and then I'm going to go to this brewery and eat this cheese dog. Like, what the hell? Like, to put us in a quarantine is like my worst nightmare.
Right.
I don't know. It's scary stuff, man. No joking around. And I've got a lot of flying to do. The best thing that I guess I'm going to do to change mine is just to wash my hands more. Like everybody's making these.
Well, and listen, if my 2 flights this past week to St. Louis and home were any indication, a lot of people aren't flying. So I had more room on the flight home from St. Louis than I've ever had. I had a row to myself, and there was one person sitting across from me, nobody in front of me, one person behind me. It was the emptiest flight I've ever been on.
In your life? Oh, my God. Do you attribute it to that? Do you really attribute it?
I do. I attribute it to that because I think New York to St. Louis is a fairly common, flight. There were 3 that United had 3 that afternoon.
Sure.
So that tells me they stock up on it. I think that some of that has to do with people. If it was an optional trip this week, I might not have taken it.
Right. Can I ask you one more question? What's the situation with the masks? I've heard that the mask is supposed to be for people that are infected, not for the people that are trying not to get it. What's the situation?
From what I've read, yes, a mask, if you're infected and you're wearing a mask, that helps if you're walking around because you can't cough on us.
Sure.
The only thing I've heard that a mask helps is you're not supposed to be touching your face right now. Because if you get something on your hand, touching your lips or your nose or whatever, and you don't even realize how much you do touch your face until you start thinking about it.
It's insane.
And so a mask, I think, will stop you from putting your finger in a mouth or picking your nose or something like that. So
we're on video now, and I'm literally having my hands like this between my legs on this.
To stop you from touching your face.
Because I do it all the time.
I saw somebody tweet the other day. Somebody on Twitter wrote, I've never wanted to touch my face so much in my life. And it's that type of thing. When you're told not to do it, that's all of a sudden when you want to scratch your nose.
My sister's in town, and she showed me this meme this morning when we were going to the gym. And it was this lady broadcaster, and she goes, blah, 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 and especially don't touch your face, and then lick her finger and turn the page. We were crying, and she just whatever her script was, or she was like, and especially and just licked her finger and turned the page to the next whatever.
I saw a news report the other day about wearing plastic gloves as well, and they said don't wear plastic gloves and then take them off by putting them in your mouth and pulling them off, which is how most people, like, I take off a pair of gloves that way sometimes, put it in my mouth, grab it by my teeth. But the whole point is, if you're wearing these plastic gloves, you did it to avoid and that kind of that kind of negates everything you just did. So
one last side topic. One last side topic here. Not related to coronavirus, in case this isn't topical when it drops. Did you see this article? I think you sent it to me about Wahlberg at this school or daddy-daughter dance. What's this about now? Like,
he was at a daddy-daughter dance, and apparently the DJ played an unedited version. And Mark Wahlberg gave up and came up to the DJ table and gave the guy some business. Like, dude, there's kids here. What are you playing F-bombs for? And the DJ apparently was claimed ignorance. He's like, oh, I didn't know it was unedited. So Yeah, it's probably a good thing to be aware when you're playing radio-friendly and not radio-friendly versions. But specifically when there's a guy like Mark Wahlberg in the crowd, you might want to double check.
Yeah.
Because it's become the one thing. I know he's been interviewed about it on a few different places. I don't think he has said the DJ's name. Which is kind of cool. It's good that he's not outing somebody in our industry.
Right. And maybe there's no video of it. Hopefully there's no video of it. Kind of like that guy that did the bongo on the lady's boobs. It's you know, and it had his name on the front of his booth and everything.
Right.
Anyway,
and which is on YouTube as the title is "The Worst Wedding DJ Ever." Yeah.
Oh, not good for business. Well, dude, let's put a bow on this thing. I hope that when this does drop, it is not as topical as it is now, and I know you hope the same. I hope that it doesn't affect.
Well, I'm thinking about it, Joe. The day this drops, you and I will have spent the night before that in the pit at David Lee Roth. So hopefully nobody's coughing and sneezing next to us while we're singing.
The probability of that not being in Vegas, of this virus not being in Vegas, is pretty low. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I got a lot of trips coming up. So I don't know, man. I'm just going to try not to touch my face and wash the hell out of my hands.
Just be healthy, man.
Yeah, man.
Just be healthy. Yep. I think I've already taken a layer of skin off my hands from washing so often.
Everybody's posting those memes. It's like the CEO of Purell and this guy with all gold outfit.
Yeah, they're sold. The Purell is like sold out everywhere.
Gone. So, it's crazy, man. Well, anyway, thanks for weighing in on this. And thank you guys always as listening. Please, if you haven't done so, go on the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review. We would greatly appreciate any 5-star reviews y'all can do.
Sign up on what's the Facebook page again? PHDJ Podcast Discussion Group?
PHDJ Podcast Discussion Group. If you have not asked to be a member, just ask to be a member, and Mike or I will approve you that day, and then let's start some chatter about these shows.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Be healthy, everyone.
Yeah, be healthy, everybody.
All right. Ciao.